Hey everyone, today I want to do a tier list ranking for all of the Avenged Sevenfold albums. They have 8 albums so far, with a ninth one coming out here in a few months called Life is But a Dream. So I wanted to do it now before we get to that album, and then maybe one day I'll come back and do it when that one I've listened to enough. It's been a few years since the stage came out. That was in 2016, so I definitely have enough time to tell you how I feel on that one. So we're starting off with their first album and making our way all the way to their newest one. So the first one was from 2001 when they were in like high school, and it's called "Sounding the Seventh Trumpet," which I think has a really cool album cover and very unique name. But the album as a whole is very bad. I think I can't listen to this one. So that's really the only one that is like just I don't listen to almost anything off of it. I'm gonna go through each one here and tell you which songs I do like. Um, for this one, "Lips of Deceit" and "Warmness of the Soul," or "On the Soul," I mean, are really the only two that I'll listen to, and I can't tell you the last time I did. I just don't like them. So yeah, that's really the only album by them that is, I think, bad. But that was their first album how long ago? So that's whenever he kind of tried to do all screaming. Now this next album I think is much better, where they kind of balance the singing and screaming, and it's not so I guess heavy with his screaming voice, which I don't like very much. But "Waking the Fallen" for me is one of my favorites. For me, it's in a B tier. I don't think there's a song on here I don't like. Looking through it, yeah, I pretty much like every song. I definitely have favorites. I think Chapter 4 is probably my favorite. Second Heartbeat, and then the "I Won't See You Tonight" Part 1 and 2. Those are probably my highlight or my songs I like the most and listen to the most off of this album. And so uh, that is why it falls in B tier. It's the one that I actually go to fairly often. It's not the most because we'll get to that one. But next is their third album, "City of Evil," which is a really popular one for a lot of people because that's when they found the band. My one friend in particular, this is his favorite band. He even has the death bat tattooed somewhere on him. I can't remember where. He's even met all the band members. Someone in his family is friends with uh, Matt, the singer M Shadows, and so he's met them enough, and he's like gone backstage and done cool things. So like he's one of the reasons I got into the band around the time the self-titled album came out. I met him, and I kind of was like listening to that kind of music at the time, and that's what helped me get into this band. And so for him, "City of Evil" is his favorite. Now for me, I'll be honest, I don't listen to this one very much. Even whenever there was only 4 albums by them that I had heard, I really didn't love this one a whole lot. It's always kind of like one I will not often go to. So for me, it's C because there are some good songs. Like this is one of those albums that got them really famous. Like "Beast and the Harlot" and "Bat Country" are probably the two most recognizable songs that if you said, name me an Avenged Sevenfold song, a lot of people would probably say those. And I would say those are among the better ones on the album. Uh, but a lot of them are kind of just like filler songs that I don't really remember without like sitting down and listening to it. Like I remember "Trash and Scattered," "Seize the Day," but I don't remember "The Wicked End," "Strength of the World," "Betrayed" very much. I don't like "Burn It Down." So like yeah, some of these like MIA I do like, but his voice he kind of goes a little bit too high, and his nasally voice is very noticeable. But I still like the album as a whole, and I would say it's just kind of in the middle for me. Next is another one that for me is what got me into the band, like I said, that I do really like, so it's going to go in B. I think most of this album is really good. Uh, Critical Acclaim I used to really like. I'm not a huge fan of anymore. I like these next few songs. "Almost Easy," "Scream," and "Afterlife" are like probably among my favorites. Brompton Cocktail I really like, and then "A Little Piece of Heaven" is really good. I think other than that, though, some of the songs are kind of just average. Like I can't tell you the last time. I don't even remember what "Gunslinger" sounds like. "Unbound," I don't think I'll listen to that one again. And then Lost. I know these songs very well because I listened to this album so many times when it first came out, but I just never really uh, loved those middle songs. But uh, yeah, so I really like that album, and it's a little bit better to me, I think, than City of Evil, at least because that's where I found the band at, and I think it's just those are the songs I've heard a lot. And then next is Diamonds in the Rough, which I guess is kind of a studio album. It's more of their songs that didn't make it onto albums, and this actually has one of my favorite songs on there by the band Dancing Dead is probably in my top five favorite songs of them. Other than that, though, the album has a lot of like alternate versions of songs or songs that I can see why they didn't make it to the album. So for me, it's like a C because it's good enough that like I do like all those songs, but I don't like love them. I'm trying to find my phone here on Apple Music. I know here we go. It's technically like a live album, but of course I'm only getting like the live songs. But I remember there's like Flash of the Blade, which is a cover of Iron Maiden, um, and then Demons. I remember that one's not too bad. I could have swore I had this album actually like on my phone. I could have, yeah, I do. It's just under a different album cover. So Demons, Girl I Know, I remember that one. Crossroads, I'm not sure I remember that one too well. Flash of the Blade, like I said, Until the End. Tension, I don't love. Walk, that one I do remember fairly well. They covered the Pantera song, Walk. The Fight, I remember. I do like that one. And I see that there's actually some other songs on here that they've added that this is a remastered version that I have, I guess, on my phone. It's got St. James, which was technically, I think, on Hail to the King. And then I don't remember Lost It All, 4 a.m. I know Paranoid was their cover of Ozzy Osbourne's Paranoid. I'll have to listen to that again, but um, and then probably actually it definitely is my favorite album by them. I think it's got the coolest album cover. Also, this is when the band I think really peaked, and I really like Nightmare. For me, pretty much from start to finish, I really like everything on it. Um, so Nightmare is probably, if it's not my favorite song, it's tied for my favorite song. Welcome to the Family is really good. Danger Line's good. Buried Alive. Natural Born Killer. So Far Away. God Hates Us. Victim. Tonight the World Dies. Fiction. For some reason, Save Me is not on here. I don't know why it's not coming up, but I do remember that being a song. Um, but yeah, I really like that album. Obviously, it's my number one. As if you're a fan of this band, you know that the drummer, the Rev, wrote their first few albums, and he died when this album was being made. I think either halfway through or right at the end. And so for me, I've noticed that since that time, their music hasn't been quite as enjoyable. Um, Now, I hope that changes, but I do notice that it seems like they trying to find either an identity or they're just trying different things because they're just not trying to go back to what they were when he was there. I don't know if that's why. I don't really know, but yeah, that was I think their last really great album. Now I do like this next one a lot more than I think most people. Hail to the King for me would probably be. I'll put it there because I do like it, and it's probably my second favorite. I don't think it's quite as good as Nightmare, but it's pretty close. I know I can understand why people wouldn't like this one because it is a lot more basic than like musically or I guess instrumentally than their other albums. But I think the songs that I really like on here are some of my favorite. Hail to the King, the song that it's titled after the album is probably my top five, if not two or three songs of theirs. And then I really like Heretic, Shepherd of Fire, Acid Rain, and Requiem. The other songs are good too, but I don't really. listen to it as much. Like Crimson Day, I can't say I've listened to that recently. Planets is okay, but yeah. Um, there were actually one song I did want to mention. They did do, if anyone plays like the older Call of Duties, when Black Ops 1 came out, they did a song Not Ready to Die. That is in my top 3 for sure. That would be, if that was like an album that they did in between their self-titled and, or no, it was between Nightmare and Hail to the King. Um, if that was like an album that they'd had with like a bunch of songs on it, that would probably be up higher because that song alone is probably just behind Nightmare. I would say it's Nightmare, then Not Ready to Die, and then Hail to the King are probably my top 3 favorite songs. Then Afterlife, and then I don't remember what song I said earlier. Curious now. I don't remember. It doesn't matter. Yeah, so I like Hail to the King more than most people. Totally understand though if you think it's too basic. My friend, for example, his ranking is completely different than mine. I'll actually go over his afterwards because I'm a fan of the band, but I don't listen to them like I used to. This is kind of just like a more recent, like I thought about it and I was like, I haven't listened to this band in a long time with their new album coming out. I listened to the song. I was like, I'll go back and listen to their old songs that I like, and I'll do a tier list ranking. Whereas him, this is a band that he actually still listens to regularly, like probably daily, if not weekly. It's his favorite band. Obviously, like I said, he has it tattooed on him. So his ranking, I could tell you it when we get to the end here, is far different than mine. So, and lastly, the stage. I'm not a fan of this one. I don't like almost anything off of it. It's D because I do like the song, The Stage, but I'll open up the full album here. So there's, I think off the regular version, there was 11 songs. I have one, and it's The Stage. I don't really like any of the other ones. It's just too weird for me. Like, they went really experimental, and I just don't really like it. I'm hoping that this new album is closer to like their older stuff, but it sounds like it's kind of a mix of The Stage with like their older stuff, which I do like the song Nobody. I would probably put it, if the whole album sounded like that, I don't know if I'd be too happy with it, but I can't believe I'd hate it more than The Stage because honestly, the only reason why it's in D is because that song alone keeps it out of there. And he doesn't have like a horrible voice or anything like in Sounding the Seventh Trumpet, which is like a pretty bad album. But yeah, so that's my ranking. His would be, I'll actually do this just to show you, like, can you even do this? I've never used this one. This would probably be my ranking right here. Is Nightmare, Hail to the King, self-titled, Waking the Fallen, Diamonds in the Rough, City of Evil, The Stage, and then Sounding the Seventh Trumpet. Anytime though, you could probably switch the two in B tier, so they're pretty much equal to me. But so his ranking, I think, would be, um, he does not like Hail to the King. I know for a fact. He doesn't love the self-titled. I think that would be his. I'd probably say that would probably be his because I know he likes all these. He doesn't hate even Sounding the Seventh Trumpet. He doesn't hate it. He just thought Hail to the King was disappointing because he didn't like how much slowed down it was. But for me, yeah, mine is far different from that. So we'll put mine back up there. So yeah. So again, that's mine, and then that was his. So I'd love to hear what yours is in the comments. Are you a bigger fan of the band than me? I'm kind of at this point. They're a band that I used to listen to during high school, and I've kind of fallen out of love with them because I've seen them live. Whenever to me they were at their peak, and ever since then they've gotten a little bit less good, or I haven't wanted to listen to them as much. So, but yeah. Anyway, appreciate you guys watching, and I will talk to you guys soon.